So have you ever wondered if AI could actually, teach you something, not just give you the answer straight up? Well, today on the Deep Dive, that's exactly what we're exploring. We're diving into a really interesting development where AI specifically, generative AI, the kind that creates text and ideas, is meeting education. It's a groundbreaking initiative from Google. It's called LearnLM. And our source for this is pretty fresh, a research paper from the LearnLM team at Google, December 2024. It's titled LearnLM Improving Gemini for Learning.
Yeah.
Our mission today really is to unpack how LearnLM is trying to change the game, moving AI from just an info source to, well, an actual tutor that helps you learn.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, I think, is this core problem. Your standard generative AI, its default is just to present information, right? But real learning, we know it's active, it's messy sometimes, it needs engagement, guidance, maybe even not getting the answer right away, like a human tutor would do. And that immediately brings up this huge question. How do you get an AI to genuinely teach? I mean, the whole idea of pedagogy, the science of teaching, it's so incredibly varied. Think about different subjects, grade levels,
hmm
cultures, learning styles. How do you even start to define that for an AI?
Okay, so let's dig into that. That initial challenge seems enormous.
Yeah.
How do you make an AI a tutor, not just a database? The paper really zeroes in on this, right? How complex it actually is.
Oh, absolutely. They ran into this head on. Google did a lot of groundwork, talked to educators all over the world, schools, ed tech firms, nonprofits, even governments. And the feedback was unanimous, pretty much, defining one ideal way for an AI tutor to behave. They called it prohibitively difficult. Just too many factors. Subjects, ages, languages, cultures, different product ideas, different philosophies of teaching. It's a minefield.
Wow, okay. So if it's prohibitively difficult even for Google, what does that mean for, say, a teacher or a small ed tech company trying to use AI? Where do you even begin? What did Google find out people actually needed from the AI?
Right. So their research pointed to two really critical things. First, the most useful thing an underlying AI model can do is simply follow instructions really well. Instructions about how to run an interactive tutor-led exercise. So it's less about the AI inventing pedagogy on the fly and more about it executing a given strategy accurately.
Ah, I see. So the human is still defining the teaching approach.
Exactly. And second, linked to that, teachers and developers need real confidence. Confidence that the AI tutor will follow those specific instructions. Like if you tell it, do not give away the answer, it needs to stick to that, even if the student keeps asking. Or stay on topic. No going off on tangents.
Makes sense. Reliability is key.
Totally. And they also figured out pretty quickly that trying to fine-tune the model afterwards for every single specific app, just not practical. Think about the cost, the maintenance, how fast these big models change. So prompting, giving clear instructions up front became the way to go.
Okay, so this is where LearnLM gets really clever, isn't it? It doesn't try to be the one-size-fits-all tutor. It reframes the problem somehow.
Precisely. It's a really smart shift.
Hmm.
Instead of defining the pedagogy, they introduced what they call pedagogical instruction following. Basically, LearnLM is trained and tested using these system-level instructions that describe the desired teaching behavior for a specific situation. So it avoids locking the model into one rigid way of teaching. It lets the teacher or the developer tell the AI how to act in that moment for that learner. It's much more flexible.
Got it. So you can give it an instruction like, if the student gets 3 questions right, move on.
Yep, exactly that. Or something more subtle, like maintain a motivating tone.
Right. And the paper mentions a difference between hard constraints like don't give the answer and softer ones like the motivating tone example.
That's right. The AI needs to handle both the strict rules and the more sort of stylistic guidelines. It makes the AI highly adaptable. And how they actually built LearnLM is interesting too. They started with a new version of Gemini, Gemini 1.5 Pro. Then they updated the training data, the supervised fine-tuning, or SFT, with lots of specific pedagogical examples, how to guide, how to prompt, how to scaffold. And crucially, they also used reinforcement learning from human feedback, RLHF, which, they say, was significantly more effective for teaching the AI those nuanced pedagogical skills, especially in longer back-and-forth conversations, handling the subtleties. And here's a really key part, the co-training. They didn't train LearnLM separately. They mixed its training data right into the main Gemini training pipeline.
Why is that so important?
Because, as the paper puts it, teaching behavior is often quite different from standard conversational AI behavior. Learning is about discovery, not just information transfer.
Right. Sometimes you don't want the direct answer immediately.
Exactly. Co-training means LearnLM gets these teaching skills without losing Gemini's core strengths. It's reasoning, understanding images and sound, factuality, safety. It stays up to date with Gemini's improvements. It ensures the tutor is still smart, basically.
Okay, this sounds very promising conceptually. The instruction following, the co-training. But does it actually work better? How on earth do you measure if an AI is a good tutor? The evaluation part of the paper sounds incredibly thorough.
Oh, it really is. They designed this quite rigorous three-stage expert evaluation pipeline. It wasn't just about right or wrong answers. Stage 1 was scenario curation. They created 49 diverse learning scenarios. And these weren't just simple prompts. Each scenario detailed the subject, comp sci, English, math, social sciences. They even did medical education.
Wow, broad range.
Yeah. And a specific learning goal, like homework help, test prep, or teach me about X, plus a detailed learner persona, maybe a student who gets distracted easily, or one who lacks confidence, or one who always tries to get the answer directly.
Okay, so simulating real students.
Right. And a conversation plan, what the learner should try to do. And finally, very specific system instructions for the AI tutor, its persona, how it should act, what it shouldn't do, like don't give away the solution. Then, stage 2. Conversation collection. They had 168 pedagogy experts, actual teaching experts role play as these different learners. They interacted with LearnLM and other top AI models, GPT-4o, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and the base Gemini 1.5 Pro.
And they didn't know which AI they were talking to.
Completely blind. And the conversations had to be at least 10 turns long, so pretty substantial interactions. And the final stage, conversation assessment. A different group of experts, 228 of them, reviewed all these recorded conversations. They used a super detailed 29-item rubric to score how well each AI performed as a tutor, looking at all sorts of pedagogical qualities.
Let's make this concrete. Can you give us an example scenario, just to really get a feel for what they were testing? Like that Python example, maybe?
Sure. Scenario 1 was Intro to Python homework help. The student pastes code that's supposed to count consonants, but it's wrongly counting punctuation too. They ask, why doesn't this work? The instruction to the AI tutor is crystal clear. Do not give away answers directly. Try to guide the student to the solution.
Okay. So the test is, can the AI nudge the student towards figuring out the bug themselves rather than just fixing the code for them?
Exactly. It's about fostering that understanding.
Or what about the algebra one? Scenario 3. That sounded interesting too.
Yeah, that one was a self-taught algebra student struggling with polynomials. The persona included maybe English not being their first language and low confidence. So the AI's instructions were things like promote active learning, offer scaffolding, adapt to the English level, and give encouragement, especially when errors happen.
So that's testing way more than just math ability. It's testing empathy, adaptability, encouragement.
Precisely. It shows how deep this evaluation went. It wasn't just checking facts, it was assessing those really nuanced, human-like teaching skills.
So the big reveal, after all this incredibly detailed, expert-led testing, what did they find? How did LearnLM stack up?
The results were pretty striking, actually. Overall, the pedagogy experts substantially preferred LearnLM across this wide range of scenarios. Let's look at the numbers. Compared to other models, LearnLM was preferred, plus 31% over GPT-4o.
31%. That's huge against GPT-4.
That really is. Also, plus 11% over Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and plus 13% over the base Gemini 1.5 Pro model it was built on. And interestingly, the preference was strongest in categories like overall pedagogy and, get this, more like a very good human tutor.
More like a very good human tutor. That says a lot. So people didn't just think it was better technically, they felt it was better pedagogically.
Yeah.
But what about the specifics? That 29-item rubric, did LearnLM excel there too?
It did, across the board, pretty much. LearnLM got the highest marks across all rubric categories and across almost all 29 rubric questions. And the paper highlights where it showed particularly big leads, things like inspiring active learning, deepening metacognition, that's thinking about your own thinking, and stimulating curiosity.
Those sound like the ingredients for real deep learning, not just memorization.
Exactly. These are the harder, but arguably more important aspects of teaching that AI has struggled with. An AI that can boost curiosity and active learning. That's a big step.
And the qualitative stuff, the comments from the experts, sometimes those tell you more than the numbers. What did they actually say about why they preferred LearnLM?
Yeah, the qualitative analysis is really insightful. They looked at the themes that came up when experts preferred LearnLM. Big ones were, LearnLM keeps on topic. You saw comments like, LearnLM didn't let me get away with distractions, which is sometimes what you need.
Definitely. Staying focused.
Another key theme, it challenges learner. One expert said, I felt like LearnLM was trying to help me grow and learn rather than just agreeing with what I said. That's pushing for deeper understanding.
Yeah, not just being agreeable.
And the big one, gives away answers, or rather, doesn't. Experts noted things like, LearnLM really engaged me in the steps to answer the question, whereas the other tutor just gave me the answer. It made them work for it, in a good way. Now, it wasn't perfect, as you'd expect. Sometimes when experts preferred another model, they mentioned things about LearnLM like clarity or the amount of information or conversation style. A couple of comments were like, LearnLM was a bit patronizing or maybe too hesitant to give help when the student really seems stuck.
So finding that exact right balance is still tricky.
It absolutely is. It's a fine line. But then again, other positive comments praised LearnLM for being warmer and more encouraging. So perception varies, but the overall trend was clearly positive.
So putting it all together, for you, the listener, thinking about using AI for learning, this suggests an AI tutor that's more like an actual guide, one that doesn't just hand you the answers on a plate, but actively pushes you to think, to figure things out, to really grasp the concepts, even if it feels a bit harder sometimes. It's about the process.
And zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, LearnLM really feels like a significant step. It shows pretty convincingly that AI can move beyond just being an information fire hose. It can become a sophisticated teaching partner, one that adapts to the specific subject, the specific task, and maybe even your specific needs as a learner. That's the promise of truly personalized education.
So where do they go from here? What's next for LearnLM and this kind of AI tutor development?
Well, the paper mentions a few key directions. First, they want to keep working on a more standard way to evaluate these AI tutors, getting more buy-in, more consensus from everyone involved in education. Second, and this is really important, they plan to move beyond these intrinsic evaluations, judging the AI against a rubric towards extrinsic ones. Meaning actually measuring learning outcomes. Does using LearnLM make students demonstrably better at Python or algebra or whatever they're studying?
Right, does it actually make you smarter, not just better at chatting with an AI?
Exactly that. That's the ultimate test. And third, they're looking beyond standard school subjects. They mentioned a successful feasibility study in medical education already. So this approach seems like it could work in lots of different, even highly specialized areas.
It really feels like this is about more than just tweaking algorithms. It's potentially redefining how technology can actively help us learn and grow, tailored to us as individuals. So as we wrap up this deep dive, the big takeaway on LearnLM seems to be its really clever pedagogical instruction following. That ability to take direction, to adapt its teaching style based on specific instructions for specific situations. That's what seems to give it the edge, leading to these better tutoring experiences.
Yeah, it points towards a future where AI isn't just a tool you consult, but a genuine partner that understands how we learn best and adapts to help us do it more effectively. It's quite exciting, really.
Okay, let's leave you with a final thought to chew on. If AI, like LearnLM, can be trained to adjust its teaching style with such fine-grained control, how might that change how we think about what makes a great human teacher? And looking ahead, what kind of completely new ways of learning might emerge when humans and these adaptable AI tutors really start collaborating closely in the classroom or wherever we learn? Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into LearnLM. Hopefully you have a clearer picture now of where AI in education might be heading.